Hey guys, so as the video suggests, I got an opportunity to sit down and have a chat with Jymnasium, a fellow Diablo 2 resurrected player and a world record speedrunner. And I wanted to know what his thoughts were with regards to Diablo 4, the direction of the game, and just stuff in general. So make sure to just give this a listen, relax, put your feet up, and listen to two guys talking about Diablo. Hopefully you like the format. Leave a comment below if you agree, disagree, whatever. Everything helps more people find stuff like this if you like Diablo. Again, much love to you guys. Thanks for giving it a shot, and I'll see you on the next one. So you got done watching, yeah?
Yeah.
What do you think? What are you thinking?
Uh, it. So they're taking away, like I said, they're taking away content from the season, like, or I mean, like from the previous season, and it's not really getting added. I mean, they're adding in their new season mechanic, sure, but like, it's like what, three different challenge rifts, like essentially from D3.
So just really quick, I got questions here. So we're talking to Jymnasium. If you guys ever played D2R, you know exactly who he is. He's faster than you, and he's telling you how to make it happen. So that's Jymnasium here. That's who we're talking to. I don't think they're even adding that much, man. I think they're adding a challenge rift for everybody. That's it. That's all that it is. And that's all, right? Because everything else is the exact same. Plus you get like outdoors or overworld events, which are, did you notice this? The exact same thing as the vampire effects, the exact same thing, just a reskin. It was the same.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean,
like what the hell? Right?
I don't know if they're just running out of ideas or if like people just really like those and they just wanted to see if people would reuse them.
Well, that's a fair take. Like, I think like everybody who I gamed with, we all really liked the Vampire Zone. Like when you were gaming it up, did you play with like community members and stuff? Did you do that?
I didn't really play too much with community members.
What? Come on, you got no. So like I did, and like it was cool
Yeah.
because it was like day 2. You guys would have to remind me, but it was like day 1 or 2. And what happened was we realized we could benefit from other people's like expenditure of the resource, so that we would have multiple different vampires spawning. Right? You go infinite, and so
Yeah.
this new system doesn't even solve that. You could do the exact same thing. You just need like one more person, probably, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
like,
Oh yeah. Okay.
yeah,
So okay, beginning of last season, we just like power leveled to 100, and the fastest way we knew at the time was to just do the dopamine tunnels into
right,
Nightmare Dungeons.
right,
We didn't realize how dense that effect would be.
right.
I don't, and it was like almost as fast XP wise, but then it just gave you a ton of loot on top of that, so you could
Yes.
probably do that one time, get a bunch of loot, and be powerful for the next however many levels.
I straight up said, like, I don't mean to cut you off. I straight up said, like, that's the better process. As long as you have 2 teams there, you go infinite, and your value proposition is just magnified because everybody's dropping huge rares, legendaries, uniques were dropping. Like, it was insane, right?
And get the lightning ball sort going right away.
Oh shit, are you live, dude? I'm sorry, you probably are, right? Let me get you
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
This
I'm
is
live.
ridiculous. Fuck. I'm watching a VOD here. Like, where's the love?
Oh.
Stand by.
No, I just had you up on my stream, so
Hey, it's Jim. He's above me. There you go. Cool, dude. Sick. Okay, yeah.
Inception. Let's
yeah,
go.
Inception. You want to do the wave? If I do the wave, okay. With 3, 2, 1, arms go up. You ready? We'll do a wave. See how it works.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go. See if it happens. Does it work? Let's go for it. Hope it hits. Okay, cool. Hey. All right. So anyway, I think like here's the problem, and I never got an answer. Okay, this is my thing,
right.
and I'm curious if you got an answer for this. There he is. Okay, we're good. All right, man. Why would I run the vault? If I'm there for loot, there's better ways to do it. We found out one thing, right? The unique, I'm going to call them guardian stones, but that's not what they're called. There's tuning stones, and then there's another kind, the big one. There's 2 unique ones that come out of the Uber version, right? But outside of that, there's no reason to be there. Did you hear one? I didn't catch one. What'd you think?
Yeah, there's not really
Governing stones, yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, you're gonna get this extra power in the season, and then it's like, what do we use it against?
What do you use it against? What is the outstanding boss? Now, we've been some people are begging, right?
They did say bet the Uber's dude, right?
Yes, so they have an
so-
Uber version. So like in every season, right? Varshan was regular Varshan, then you had Echo of Varshan. Both were clappable. Then you had Zir, and then you had Echo of Zir, clappable. And now you're going to have this. And I don't think it's fair for me or you or anybody else, because I haven't played it. I shouldn't even speak on it. I am ignorant, but like, I don't actually think it's going to be any different or more difficult than Uber Lilith. It's just going to be somebody we knee in the face, our knee goes through their face, we break their spine, everything's done, and we're on to the next piece. Like, it can't be that difficult, right?
Yeah, I mean, if it was like a tanky boss that like punished you over time for getting hit
Yeah.
so many times. Like that would be a pretty cool boss fight.
Yeah.
Something in that form. We haven't had that. The only form of that they're bringing in is like you have this buff that's going to decrease your loot if you get hit from the traps.
Right.
And so that doesn't seem to feel, or doesn't seem like it's going to feel very good. I don't know.
So
Like,
this is what they said. They actually said it during if you guys caught it, like during the stream, they were like, hey, so they're trying to work around the option where people don't cheese their way to the end, he said, right? So I'm curious because you know how D4 works just as much as I do. Let's say Jim, Lucky, me, and whoever Kano's going. We're all going, okay? We're going. You three guys do all the work. You get to the end door and you're like, okay, Cade, come on in. You're done making your Folgers. I go, hell yeah. And I get in there for free. It costs me no mats. The door's already open. Why don't I get those boxes? What's the deal? It makes sense that I would get it, right? How do they circumvent that? That's the question. How would you do it with the curtain framework? I don't think you could. Question mark.
me, yeah, that is the question, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
what is their? I mean, they're also like questioning. It seems like they're going through I don't know, an identity crisis, like explaining what their thought process is, and then it's like, oh, but
Yeah.
this isn't all set in stone. We'll just, still go off of player feedback.
Yeah, that was weird, right? Would you like what is
yeah.
that? Like I don't mean to be rude to them. Like I know these guys are working, right? You know they're trying to make the best game, but I'm like, I had to pause it and had to give myself a second to think, right? And I was like, man, why are you telling me this? This is your internal thoughts. It has nothing to do with my experience. Like you deliver what you deliver. You don't got to tell me your plans to mid patch. Patch it right away. I don't got to wait. Like, did you feel the same way? Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it's something bugged, yeah,
fix
like
it.
a bug, yeah, like that's like overshadowing everything. Because, like, I mean, by mid-season, I'm pretty much moving on.
Yeah.
I've been 100. Like, okay, so for last season, I got 2 characters to 100 in the first week, and
Jesus.
I was just like,
All right.
what do I do at this point? Like,
Wow.
I've played 2 characters all the way through. I've managed to kill Uber, Duriel on both very easily. I could go through and do a barbarian at this point and try to do the Rob one-shot Duriel. That was like the next like thought I had. I was like, that doesn't really interest me.
Yeah, and then you kind of go
Uh,
back to what you love doing, right? Which is not that thing, and that's what we're all going to do that again. This is my thing. Their answer for the pushback of the gauntlet, I gotta say, shallow pool. There, did you hear what he said? I'll tell you. So he goes,
yeah, go ahead.
we want to give people a chance to enjoy the seasonal mechanics instead of just going right in there. It's like, but man, you have the content. Let them choose. That's the best part. Because here's what you're going to do now. I think you might have spoke on this before. I don't recall, but maybe you did. Probably thought about it. You're just giving everybody time to just get decked out. So we're going to walk through your content anyway. They're going to kind of like be like jokes. That there's no content there because it's too easy, right?
Yeah, well, you're gonna figure out the meta build, and then it's just gonna be a competition of the meta build instead of like figuring out the builds as you're going along, which is the point of the leaderboards. I feel like is like, oh, this guy did it with this. That's a pretty cool setup. Maybe I'll try that, or
Yeah.
maybe like I'll tweak it because I think this will work a little bit better, and like you play off of that. And it's like the theory crafting of the leaderboards is really cool, but there's not going to be that this time around anyway. So the leaderboards is a little bit of a miss. And by a little bit, it completely misses the mark.
Yeah, you're being very kind. Yeah, you're being very kind, just to be kind to think. Yeah, and like, you kind of, when I'm saying this shit, I really don't mean to besmirch or wear down anybody's effort. You know, these guys are working hard. You know, the holidays hit and all this stuff. I get life happens. But at the end of the day, the deliverable date shows up. And what did you decide? I can't agree with this. I don't think it's a community W. And I truthfully think people are going to, I swear to God, this is going to happen. People are going to go to RMT sites. They're going to go to JSP. They're going to go to like third-party services to get carried in these events because it's going to be too late. And like, what's coming up? Last Epoch's coming up. D2R season's coming up. You got PoE 2 coming up the rear. Like, it might be too late for their decision. I think they should revert it. But what do you think? Like, am I fucking? What am I wrong here? What do you think?
Well, the last Epoch thing was like, oh no, or like the, I don't know, the last minute idea for D2R at the end there was like, okay, it's going to come not even mid-February because the announcement's coming coming in February, so it's going to be late to the last day of February, and you have the last Epoch coming in that's like going to clash with that pretty hard. I don't think that's, man, that just sucks for like people that want to play D2 and last Epoch. You're going to be, I mean, you're literally going to have to make a choice at that point.
Yeah, you're screwed. You're screwed. Yeah, I
So
hear you.
timing wise, I mean, they probably don't really care about last epoch from a Blizzard standpoint, but we as gamers, we do.
Yeah, and
uh,
I think like my stance on that is like, yeah, it's actually a great time if you like ARPGs, in my opinion. Like you have options, tons of options. It's just unfortunate when the things you like, unfortunately run over each other. Then you can't really enjoy it, right? Because like you said, you're in the pinch. Sucks,
yeah.
man. Damn. So was there anything like? Let me ask you because we're just chit chatting. The whole point here is to be kind of just laid back and having a good time. What was there like a big pull? Like, oh yeah, I got to try that. Was there anything in the thing that you watched that said like, sweet, that's for me? Now I'm
Yeah,
playing.
so there's some big pros to this season as well, like the WASD movement or WASD. Is never WASD. I've never heard that in my life. So
I'll be
she's just
honest.
wrong.
Well, I'm not passionate enough to give a shit on either regard. As long as we know what we're saying, let's move along, right? We got other things to talk about. Yeah. Okay. So
um,
WASDA, yeah.
yeah, WASD and Stash Tab. That's
Sure.
a nice little quality of life.
Sure.
And it might be potentially the best way to play the game because you might be able to like move with WASD while being able to use your abilities. So like, there's a slight like advantage to WASD movement potentially. Don't know until you actually play it, see how it actually plays out. But
Maybe like
uh,
console crew gets screwed hard because they don't even get to enjoy any of this feature. But that's why you go PC Master Race. But if you can't, you can't. I get it. I hear
yeah,
that.
yeah,
I hear that. I think they kind of I don't think they're being entirely honest. And I don't like being this way, but Path of Exile 2 introduces WASD with their mercenary class, and everybody's like, "Holy shit, WASD in an ARPG, groundbreaking!" And then suddenly it's here, and the term is like, "Well, you need it for this new system." Maybe that's true, but kind of similar with the lineup at the time here. Like, interesting, right?
yeah. I'm not sure how well it's gonna. It just depends on how it's implemented, really.
Hmm.
And then the barb charge. I mean, you're a barbarian player, right? Like
Oh yeah,
that 10x.
yeah. Hey, Gratz, you got a 10x skill, but here's the thing: like, I think it makes sense because in a system or a season like this, you're going to favor mobility because you're going to be put in these very tricky positions where monsters are on you. You can't get hit by a thing. So how did you solve it? We knew Barb got leap, and now you're getting charged. So your mobility skill gets you out of trouble and actually kills. It's a no brainer. 100%. But then if you looked at this Seneschal construct, they have this gripping support, which allows things to get pulled to you, but it's once every 10 seconds at level 10 per monster. So
Mm.
if there's another barb, I think legendary aspect that also pulls it in, so that's double pull. So you don't have to go charge, but it's cool that there's another option. I like the build diversity, honestly. Even though I will always say Hammerdin is the only paladin class that there is. Even the Fodens out there, it's whatever. But I like diversity in a new game. I think it's smart and it's cool. But damn, 10x is a lot. 10x is a bunch for the barbs. I gotta say.
Yeah,
And then,
and
but
I don't know how well that's gonna balance out with the. I mean, like I haven't really played charge since like I used it back in like speedruns way back for just mobility to try it out, see if it was good in speedrunning. And I mean, it was nice for the mobility part, but the damage really sucked, and I think I ended up like not favoring it in the end. But 10x early on, especially, is going to feel really good. I think so.
yeah, I mean, feels really good against what? What are you up against though, right? Like you're up against Hoda, you're up against Upheaval, all this stuff. Like there's very powerful effects now, so it's cool that you're competing, but I don't know if they're supporting it enough. Here's my thing. I've been saying this for a bit, and I don't know where where your stance is on this, but do you feel that there's a lack of creative depth with the itemization in D4? And I don't mean like just rare four affix stuff, but like the way that a unique item interplays with your mechanics in combat. And I'll give you an example. See if you feel the same way. Instead of just giving you this robot pet called, we'll call it Roomba with attitude, right? It'd be cool if there's a unique for the sorceress class that would allow meteors to go wherever the position of that Roomba with attitude is. So it's more interplay with the new seasonal mechanic than just you do this thing. Now it's how do you engage with that thing? Like, and then how does that thing engage with your glyph power? I thought that might be more interesting. Do you feel the same way, or am I lost in the sauce here?
I mean, I feel like there might be maybe some cool combinations with like pets, uh, being able to like create something kind of cool, but like once again, it falls flat against the content. I feel like, and maybe like the Uber boss is going to be a cool fight, and so getting like your pet to help you with single target damage is kind of nice, especially with like builds like Pulverize that really struggle with AoE or only do AoE and don't do single target. Um, the I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like it seems like there's a lot to hmm, there's a lot to test, I
Yeah.
guess, and without that's the other thing is like they don't have a PTR for us to go in and like actually play around with these tools and give them feedback. So it's just like I don't know, just we'll see how it's implemented.
I'm not a guy. Yeah, yeah, I love that. So like, I'm not the guy that wants to do all the beta testing, but I would do it if it helps the masses, right? Like, I'd make time just
Yeah.
because I know it's going to be beneficial, right? So yeah, and like, let me ask you this: what would be wishful thinking here? But let's say so Jim's fighting the boss. It's the new season. You're there. What's the effect? What's the cool thing that happens? Does the boss go into the floor and a bigger boss comes out? Like, would that be oh shit? Here we go. What's the cool experience that you hope to see if there is one? You've given any
Hmm.
thought?
I haven't actually thought about that.
Yeah.
I guess like it'd be kind of cool to yeah, to have like a multi-stage boss fight so that like if you do have this like one build up ability that allows you to one shot something that it's spread out amongst multiple stages so you can't do it 3 or 4 times or however many
Yeah.
stages the boss there is.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting, right? Just something to think about. Yeah. I don't know. I thought it'd be kind of cool. Just I want to see what they do. It's fun because that's how it becomes like unique, right? That's how you appreciate it. Like I know Lilith got a lot of flack, but it wasn't really all that terrible if you learn the dance. Like now everybody one shots her. And that's just
Yeah,
so
yeah.
sad. And do you think, let me ask you, because we haven't really talked about this at all. Like I've never had a chance to talk with Jim about this guy, so it's fucking awesome that I get to. But do you think Lilith should be dropping gear every time you kill her? I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. She should. Okay, so like you get the little like horse mount or whatever and
Yeah.
little tag and it's like okay, great. But the whole point of an ARPG is gear.
Yep.
So where's the gear? I don't know. Like
Yeah.
the
Yeah, okay. Just curious because like I can't think of another game that I've played where I keep killing the same thing and I get nothing. Like it was the
yeah.
first time. I was like, that's why that's a wild take. What the hell? Kind of weird.
One of the things that I think would be nice for the game since they've uh you know they have like the butcher and these goblins and they have kind of a lack of utility item or utility aspects dropping. I've noticed, especially when I've played through, and like I played through on both a Sork and a Necro, I think last season. I can't remember, but I didn't get my utility aspects for being able to get my resource back on either one of them, and I was like, that seems like an issue. I've gotten to 100 on 2 characters now, and
Yeah.
neither of them got a utility aspect. And you got the butcher and these goblins that could potentially have either a higher chance or just a guaranteed chance from like maybe the butcher that gives you a utility or a ring, legendary. So you have a chance at a utility aspect. I think that would be a pretty just like nice quality of life change they can make, and that makes you actually want to kill the butcher instead of like trying to drag him like
Yeah.
early on. He's not worth the XP. It's not worth the time it takes to kill him. So when it comes to like leveling to 100, we just skip him altogether. Like,
Yeah, because he doesn't give you any. Yeah, there's no reason, right? He's not empowered
yeah,
or whatever. Yeah, that's a good point. I wonder, like, so what? I know, like you mentioned, and I feel the same way. Unfortunately, you know what's sad, man, is this. Like, we're talking about a whole new Diablo game, right? I wish we were saying today, like, oh man, I love this game so much. It's been out for almost a year now. I can't stop playing. I'm still in 11 hours a day. There's so much to do. But that's not what we're saying, right? So, do you have like a wish list? What is the thing that you wish it had? Even after like what you've seen today, like, what's the thing that you wish it had to make you go like, that's if it had this, I'm in. What would that thing be?
I don't know. I feel like that's hard to answer because like I don't like how the damage is based off your weapon DPS. I didn't like it in Diablo 3. I don't like it in Diablo 4.
Yeah.
And I think it really limits your itemization, which is the most important part of an ARPG. So, I mean, it would have to be something with that. I feel, which would completely change the game. um, so I don't know what it would have to be something with the weapon DPS and like your skill DPS. I
Okay.
feel like.
So,
Yeah.
so like at a base level, if I'm hearing you, you're like, it has to be converted the way damage is dealt, which is actually good for a lot of like end game, in my view, end game systems. When you have like static DPS based on items, that's huge. Like these work this way, right? That's great. I agree. So it would be that. What about mapping? Like, do you find the way their maps are integrated in the like Nightmare Dungeons, the way that is? Do you think that could be improved for you or what?
Oh yeah, completely. Like it seems like they're like we have 150 plus dungeons or whatever, and it's like, oh, these dungeons all seem kind of like, or like not all of them, but there's a lot of like copy paste going on. Especially with the bosses. Like,
Yep.
holy crap, I've killed Tomb Lord 100 times at
Yeah.
least,
Yep. And you're
probably a
gonna kill
thousand
him
times.
again. Yeah, you're gonna kill him again, right? Because we saw
Mhm.
he's in the beginning of that new Gauntlet thing. Yeah.
And he's actually a so the Tomb Lord is kind of similar to the capstone boss fight,
Yep.
right? The first capstone going
Yep.
into World Tier 3.
Curator.
And
Yeah.
that boss fight is actually really fun when we speed run it because we're going in at level 25 versus a level 50, boss.
Crazy.
And you actually have a complete boss fight. Whereas like when you go in at level 50, you can just face tank everything and just
Yep.
you kill them in 10 seconds. It's
Yep.
not even yeah. But it's a really cool boss fight actually. So that's the thing about I think the game is like everything's just too far. I don't know. It's it's too easy for the level, and then it's also like I don't- it's I don't even know how to explain it, but it's not quite that like
I know what you're trying
that
to say. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that fight is the most fun I think I've had in D4 with doing it on a low level character. So that's why I do the speed runs and like I mean that's just the most fun I have, I guess, doing it that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you want to be challenged by the content. That's cool. A couple
Yeah,
questions I'm
challenge.
getting here just from the dudes. First of all, I agree.
Sure.
I think Nightmare Dungeons. It'd be really cool if Nightmare Dungeons and the Gauntlet, if they included butcher like minions that showed up. And I don't mean vampires. I don't mean this like I don't want RoboCop showing up. I don't want like Terminator showing up. Not mechanic, but something from the Diablo lore, like a ghost of like I don't know Asmodan shows up. It's like oh like a big surprise, right? That'd be amazing. Welcome in, dude. Yo yo. I think that'd be so sick. Do you agree that we need more of
Hi,
those
Dockside.
incursions? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Hey, man, yo, yo. Do you think that'd be better?
um, yeah, so the butcher like fights, those are fun. Um, like just I mean, even the vampires that spawned in on you, those were kind of cool.
Yeah.
Uh, something like that, sure, maybe. Um, some like random encounter that's like rewarding and also as a good fight that challenges you, right? So
Yeah. I want. I
yeah.
think. I think would make it so cool. Like you alluded to this too, man. So you get a butcher that shows up. You get access to butcher only loot. You get like Asmodan that shows up. Asmodan only uniques legendary powers. That's why we're look. That's why we run the dungeons. That's who we're looking for. And you got that rare shot. But hey, guess what? Jim's friend Randall's playing too, and Randall's got him in his dungeon. You're like, let's go. Give me the invite. Like we want to get in there, right?
Not right now. Yeah, exactly. So, what I'm, I guess, getting at is like uh, hold on one second.
No, do your thing. Do your thing. Do your thing. It's all good. He's got stuff going on, dudes. Yeah, I like that. I don't know if he does, but I think it's sick when we get those incursion style events. It's like so much better. It just makes that dopamine start. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, go for it. Yeah, yeah. Hey, what's up, Doc? Man, yo, go ahead, man. Sorry, that rip.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So where were we talking about the
We're
butcher
talking
fights?
about butcher
Yeah,
fights, incursions, and stuff. And
yeah,
what do you think? Let rip. Yep.
yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I mean, just challenging content in general is like enjoyable. So, if there's, hmm, like waves of monsters, it's kind of like the events they do, but like maybe not so much just like squishy little craps that come in, but like and they need to get rid of the on death effects.
Oh,
Those
the on death effect. Holy shit. Stop with the on death effects. Why is everything got to have an on death effect? I don't want a volcano every time I kill a goblin. It's annoying. I agree.
yeah, I mean
Holy
like
shit.
we all remembered goblins from D2.
Oh,
They're I mean not goblins, dolls, jeez.
yeah.
And like they're like one of the worst mobs to fight, but it's like okay, there's only one of these types of mobs. It's not that bad. Like it's fine. Like we can just pay attention and not get blown up by it. But man, like I feel like it's at least 25% of the monsters in Diablo 4 have some kind of on death effect. So
Oh, I'm right there with you, man. Like, I'll sign the charter. I'll make up fake names and put additional names on that thing. I want it gone like so fast. I want snapshotting gone. I want that stuff gone because what I want is like we kind of had this conversation yesterday. I don't know if you're there for it, but we're talking about like what I think makes Diablo 2 superior to like the current D4. I can log into Diablo and I can slap Pindle skins, Balloon Knot as much as I want. I could do Duriel runs, I could do Diablo runs, I could do Bale runs with the boys, whatever, at my leisure. Now I have to farm Gregor the Galvanic Saint. I got to do Varshan because I really just want to do Duriel, but I can't. It's like it's the ease of access to the thing I enjoyed, and that maybe that's the nostalgia kick. Maybe it's the lack of hair speaking. I don't know, but that just harkens to me with my time.
Yeah, I mean, if they give us the cool town portals to D2, that'd be pretty cool.
Oh, oh, that'd be great. Yeah, it'd be so amazing. God. I don't know. I agree. Man, crazy, right? And what's sad, what sucks a little bit, like, I might not try to keep positive, but, like, I kind of wish that we were talking about all this stuff in D4. And I don't know
Mhm.
where we're missing the mark with communication here. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's going the other way a bit. Oh, another question for you. And do
Mhm.
you feel the same way? But question after that. I got two for you. The ammunition. Do you agree? Is it going a different way than you like?
Uh, hmm. I've seen good changes for like season 2 or yeah, season 2 compared to season 1. That was a great change. Um changing resistances, changing power or the damage aspects or whatever.
Multiplicative
And
tables? Yep. Okay.
yeah, yeah, all that. I thought that was a pretty good like right direction, so was interested in playing season 2. But the lack of content, so they added AOZ, and I didn't even play AOZ because I was just like, well, it looks like Greater Rifts to me.
Okay.
So
You didn't even
uh,
try? You didn't even
I, I
try?
did. I didn't even try it. I yeah. I watched you guys. I was like, hey,
Oh, all right.
look at
Thanks
these
for
guys
watching.
going through it.
Okay, so you didn't go through it. All right, cool. Good for you. Didn't even try. You didn't even
Yeah.
try. That's great, dude. Good on you. Okay. The second
And then
question. Oh, go, go, go. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep
oh
going.
yeah, and
No,
then
no.
they're bringing up challenge rifts again from D3,
Right.
which I don't know. Maybe it's a good thing in D4. Like I guess it's hard. It's hard to read. Like D4 being MMO, MMOs typically have like target farming, and we kind of have that with Duriel. And like you were alluding to this earlier with the like farming specific dungeons for specific things. It's like, yeah, maybe target farming would be a good thing in D4. It's something maybe they should try out like a little bit more because I mean like maybe this world boss drops this specific loot that you want for your build. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's like they missed that part, but I just my thought. For me, it's going another way. It's not going the way that I like. I would like unique items for unique um, personalities in the business. Like you've got Zir only, you've got Beast in the Ice only, you've got Duriel only, and like that's where I want to go, and that's why I want to farm these things. Yada yada. But teach their own. Next question: have you
yeah.
ever played Deep Path of Exile? Like, have you got off the beach?
No, I played through I think like for maybe an hour of Path of Exile. And I was just like, I kind of want to just go back to playing D2.
Yeah. Can I ask, like, do you have the do you know why? What was the thing that turned you off to it? What was the deal?
Um, I don't know. Like every time I saw any late game content, it seemed like a D3 esque like feel where you just instantly deleting the entire screen. Um, but
True.
there's like a long journey to get there, so maybe that journey is actually worth taking and trying out. And I thought about going back in the PoE and trying it out. The only issue is like it doesn't do well on stream, so
What's that,
there'd have
PoE? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Like yeah, I've noticed like anybody that goes to play Path of Exile loses like at least half their viewership.
Mhm.
So I mean like from watching anybody from the D2 scene, whether it was Llama or anybody, it was just like you literally boom, cut your viewership in half and go from there. That's your baseline. And eh, I'm trying to do full-time streaming. It's kind of working out for me, but it's like I mean, I'm right there with D2. And I really enjoyed doing D2 speedruns. It's really fun to see improvement. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm addicted a little bit.
Well, that's good. You like what you like. So
Yeah.
I like everybody else you're mentioning, right? I've noticed a decrease in viewership and all that jazz. But what else you get though is like you get to this is obvious shit, but you meet new people, but you also expand your repertoire in the ARPG scene. So you kind of this is going to harken to a lot of the people that I think we're hanging out with. When you play a game that's so flushed out like that, and you see the
Mhm.
borrowed mechanics brought into the game like D4, it's like you can't ignore it. And it's like there's deeper systems that exist today that would inform your decisions in D4 tomorrow. So there's gain, right? But I know what you're saying about the job. I totally understand. And I myself, like we would hit really great numbers. I'm not all about that. It certainly helps. But for me, and maybe you feel the same way. Like some days you're just like, I want to try something new. And that hit me
Mm.
with Diablo 4. I said, like, I've got one more Urbi unique to get. And once I got that, I'm helping people all the time. What's after that? What's that thing? And it's like, there wasn't anything. It's like, damn, let's go try PoE because we know Path of Exile
Yeah.
2 is coming out. I think you're going to play Path of Exile 2, hopefully. You're going to love that shit. And if we have to do backdoor stream sessions of me teaching you PoE, I swear to God, I'm in. I'll have to learn how to do some handstands, but I will teach you because I think it's good. I promise you I would, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. I mean, I could probably see myself trying PoE again and just like just to learn, I guess, more about how ARPGs should be. I kind of noticed it a little bit with like the PD2 and Project. No, it was Path of Diablo. Yeah.
Yeah, POD and
The
PD2. I do it too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the two like mods of D2 that were like actually good for D2. Media and Excel kind of just completely revamped and or it just made a different game basically with just D2 art, right? But yeah, I think if PoE influenced those mods to be as good as they are, then yeah, PoE is probably worth taking a look at.
Even if
Um,
it's not for everybody. Like you don't got to justify
yeah,
it. I'm just saying, like, I'm glad I made the change. I'm glad I made the change, and I understand that. I respect if people don't like it. If you want to wait for PoE 2, I support that decision. I was just curious if you ever played it because it changed my appreciation for ARPGs. I didn't mean to cut off your answer. I don't mean to keep doing that to you, but
no,
um,
you're good.
okay, yeah, it was just like I gained so much from it, and it's like the game looks like kind of aged and shitty, but the mechanics are there, and that's like the same. I'm a bit of a joke in this regard. I don't play PD2 because I say it looks like shit, but I'll play D2R. But I'll play PoE even though it kind of looks aged. It's like, well, you can't have it both ways, right? But
Mm.
mechanically, it's freaking superior. And then the fact that those four linked items are now in Diablo 4, everybody who played PoE gets it immediately. There's a bit of a learning curve for the Diablo crew, which is fine. Anyway. It's a more robust experience overall. That's all. That's why I bring it up.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, I've played around with like the support gems and the linking and all that,
yeah,
but uh, I don't know. It. I guess.
talk straight. What do
I
you got? Just say what's in your heart, man. Say what's in your heart.
I guess like it seems like the more you copy from PoE and implement into another game, that game improves. So, uh, but having to learn everything that's into PoE, and there's a lot there, uh, is a little bit daunting for like newer players. It's not daunting to me. Like I'm not like scared of like going in and trying to learn everything PoE has to offer.
Yeah.
But it it is like I said, just like daunting to the you know everybody that hasn't played it. So
That's the number one feedback I see from people that haven't tried it. They say you got to have a university degree to try it. And we're talking about PoE at the moment, guys. So it's like you have to have a university degree to play it. There's so much to it. And that's where Diablo 4's developers made that comment public. Remember, they said, we want to reserve the right not to make everything in the game all the time. And our criticism is like, well, when you choose not to do that, unfortunately, like the game feels kind of shallow. Like there's only one new seasonal thing instead of like those two cool things that we like to do, kill vampires, now kill machines, right? So it does make the pool a little bit more shallow. But I will say to your point, they are just kind of scraping the PoE thing, and that's what kind of like rubbed me the wrong way a bit. And I'm just another person. My opinion's not any better than anybody else's, but they didn't innovate off that, in my view. It was just a scrape. It's like
yeah,
I wish you would have just given it the twist, give it that Diablo twist, you know?
yeah. It's almost like how Ludwig explained way back in the day of the Yoink and Twist when it came to like content
The yoink and
and like
twist, okay?
Yeah, and so like you take something from, another content creator that's done something out there and you twist it and make it your own. And I feel like
Okay.
Diablo used to do stuff like that a little bit,
Okay.
but this, yeah, like you said, just seems like it's not really much of a twist.
Yeah, like okay, so that's an interesting take. Yoink and twist. Okay, so let's use the terminology yoink and twist. If you were to just like I said, and my ideas are just whatever. There's going to be 10,000 better ones, but if I yoink the idea of supporting a skill and I twist it into the companion, we never saw that before in Diablo. Where like your skills, like as an example in D2R, imagine shooting Blizzard, right? And then Emilio struts through with his clean looking lance and stabs pig sticks somebody in your Blizzard. He has like additional ice damage. That'd be cool. It's like I understand how my actions affect others in the world. That's the twist. It's like, why didn't we get there? How did we like? Was it a timing issue? What are your thoughts? You know,
Yeah. So like it could be, I don't know if you played much PD2 or not, but like there's the
never,
Cursed Necromancer where
never.
like you can put up multiple curses and you can explode those curses on the monsters. And so like having a pet put up the curses for you and then exploding them, that would be. I mean that goes back to I guess a mod of D2, not necessarily D2, but yeah. Or how about just like the amp damage corpse explosion from D2?
Okay.
Well, if you have a pet that automatically puts up the amp for you, all you need to do is get that first corpse and you can start blasting away. Um, and so having something like that is kind of cool and uh, allows you to theory craft, some cool, unique builds potentially. Um, and which is what's good about the pet. And but the thing is it only lasts for this season, so that that's
Yeah,
the content.
yeah.
Like
Like,
what?
oops.
Why am I learning this mechanic? What what's the point? Same thing with like the vampiric powers last season. It's like, well, we had the get gear that had the uh modifiers so that you could have the vampiric powers because the vampiric powers cost so much. Um, so you couldn't have like all the ones that cost 8. I forget like what the different packs. That's what they were.
Yep.
And so yeah, and when it comes to I guess stuff like this, it's like while I'm learning this, kind of unique or kind of not even unique, just kind of different way to play the game and only for one season and it's like not long lasting. Like I said, they're lacking content. So that's the issue I see, I guess, is the lack of content and these systems that are coming in and going away. Yeah.
Yeah, and to like give them a bone to your point though, they did reintroduce the rings in the form of like the malignant hearts in the form of the rings, right? So that you weren't entirely neutered when you spent time figuring that out, right? Like
Hmm.
all that. So that's cool. Do they do that again with the vampiric power? Like, how do you unbecome a vampire? Like,
I don't know. I guess we'll have to ask Buffy.
yeah, I guess so. I guess so. It's like, well, I guess we're a new character, right? So our story's different, but how could you ever acquire a vampiric power by not being one again? I don't know. It's like, it's kind of weird, right? I don't know, man. I don't know. I,
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear I'm not the only guy feeling like, I don't know, like they're, I don't know. It's cool, but yeah.
I mean, I don't even have to play PoE to understand that like the D4 is lacking in these areas because I feel it when I play the game. It's like
Yeah.
I only get so much out of each season. I I felt the same way when it came to uh um D3. It was like I can only play D3 for like a week. If I tried to play a second week of D3, it was like, man,
Same.
this feels like I'm beating my head against a wall.
Same. I couldn't do it. This is the thing. Like, I'm not going to speak for you, but I'll say for myself, and like, I assume you agree. It's like we don't speak for you guys. It was like I don't love D3. If you love it, I support that passion you have for it. It's not my thing. He doesn't like
Mm.
running greater ifs. Neither do I. Right? Like you feel the same way, right? Like they do whatever they want. It's fine.
Yes, exactly.
We all win when there's diversified games we can enjoy, and actually playing those games will give you a bit of a window into like the different mechanics. As an example, I believe it'd be really cool in Diablo 4 to have open trading for 2 weeks, if for no other reason than to feel what it's like to give somebody an uber unique you don't need two of, right? And then in the last
Yep.
epoch, they have the trade guilds, which is completely trade, and then you have the SSF guilds. Like they solve that. I would love to see even that little that twinge, that change in Diablo 4. That would be cool because then me and you could just do conversations like this off stream. And if one of our community members needs a Shaco, we wake them up in the morning, go, yo, there's that hat that you're looking for. And that right there reinvigorates that player to help somebody. And off we go, you know? Like, what are your thoughts on the trade scene? What do you think about that?
Well, they said they're changing like gold trading, but I mean, it's just a UI thing, I guess.
So on console, it's an absolute it's a mess to try to get. You have to like it's a terrible structure to get gold on console. You got to like move around, put your number in. It's like it's tedious. I guess they've adjusted that, so that's what they're speaking to.
Yeah, I haven't played console at all, so
Neither have I, but I know it's atrocious from what people tell me. Right?
Yeah, console's not master race, so
yes, no, it's not. Yeah. No hate to the console crew, but what do you think? Like, let's talk about trade for a second. Do you support it? Like, what team are you on here?
So I used to trade all the time back before I started streaming, and I was using JSP to do it.
You use JSP?
Yeah, back in the day, I used JSP. I still have my forum gold.
What?
Let's see.
Guys, he's telling you he uses JSP. He's one of them. It's all good. I did too. I made 5 forum gold off my carries when I was on a lightning sork back in the day. Didn't really touch it since, but
yeah,
he's one of them. Yep.
So the problem with like the trade site, and the reason why D4 needs to step up their trading game is so that these sites don't have like much value, is because you can turn your items into forum gold. You can take that forum gold, you can play with it into the next season, and then there's no true ladder reset. It's literally just you reusing your previous season in the new season, and that's not a ladder reset or a season
No,
reset.
It's not. No, it's
and
not.
So that's the biggest issue with it. I also have the issue of it being a pay to win site where you can buy forum gold, and so therefore you can take that money and spend it on items. So it's just one step removed. So
But do you think that if they just allow completely open trade, that makes the game better or worse? Like if you had you had to choose A or B, which one do you think?
I mean, I feel like if they've just brought up an auction house, it's an MMO, right? Like
Yeah, okay.
Like they have an auction house system in World of Warcraft. They just like copy paste that over to D4.
How many people have said that? So many people
yeah.
say that. Yeah. So you'd be okay with like open trade through an auction house UI, that kind of thing?
Yeah, they had it in D3, and I used it all the time until they had added the real money auction house.
Right.
And then I had a pretty big issue with it.
Same, and I would too.
So
yeah, I think acquiring in-game currency to use that currency to acquire items for myself or others, love it all day long. Right? Did that in D2, highly successful. The second I got to crack out that credit card or the wallet, you can do it if you want. I'm not going to judge you, but I don't go for that, and I don't support systems that are like that personally. Now, if you do, that's fine. I'm not going to tell you to live your life, right? But okay, so we're there. Okay, interesting. Like at least try it. No, like at least try it. Just
I mean, I guess the thing is like there's gotcha games out there if you want to fight somebody else's wallet with your wallet. That's fine. But
well, here's the thing.
I'd rather have a game where it's more of a skill and knowledge based fight. So.
And I'm there with you, but here's the reality I think that we're in, regardless of what our preferences.
Yeah.
Diablo.trade exists. People can get gold, and they were doing this. Hopefully it's fixed in the next season, I swear, I hope to God. Where they were using gold from a previous season to get gold into the new season, use that gold to buy Duriel runs and acquire Uber uniques. Those same cats, or whoever's duping out there and selling it on these websites, people are still going to get their hands on it, and they're going to get Uber uniques. And they're going to use that in the challenge rift that other people through RNG just don't get those Uber uniques. So the argument of like making it more fair is frivolous in its inception, in its conception. It's not true. In real life, people will pay money to get that Uber unique. They'll pay people to run them. You know what I mean? Like this is happening. Yeah. So if you and I love Joe Shelley's take, right? Don't you? Where it's like if you want the best gear in the game, you kill the best stuff in the game to get it. I support that, but that doesn't happen because the shackles aren't tight enough. It's like I wish they were.
Yeah, and the other thing is like, I mean, if they had a good way of looking up items or like trying to find gear on an auction house, people wouldn't go out of their way to, find these trade sites to trade.
Yep.
Like,
yep.
So,
yep. Yeah. So too bad, so sad. All things being equal, what are you playing for season 3 if you're getting in there? What are you doing?
Oh man, without the patch notes, I don't know.
Mhm.
I kind of want to look at the patch notes and kind of go over that.
Same.
I'm a Druid main on max roll. I cover Druid leveling. Well, not all of them, but most of the Druid leveling on max roll, and work with the Druid team on Druid things. So
Sure things.
I'm leaning I'm leaning towards Druid,
Yep.
but because I mean Lightning Druid, that unique looks pretty enticing actually. Like Lightning Druid was just a little bit behind other Druid builds, but this new unique gives it quite the item or gives it quite the power spike, and so it it may be the meta for Druid potentially.
Can I ask
So
you, like, so first of all, every time I watched you play D4, you were on that druid pulverizing the room, and I was like, damn, he makes that look good. Like, I kind of want to try that. And so I didn't do that. I went with a Stormclaw druid, and that thing was mediocre. Compared to like what Rogue was doing and what Barb and Sorceress were doing, we're not even close. But let's stay to the druid for a second. Pulverize looks good, yeah. Did you care so much about the unique that they showed, the fact that it was on the glove slot? How does that how does that change the druid for you? Because you're the guy, right?
so yeah, it takes away one of your offensive aspects
Yes.
for Lightning Druid. Um, man, I don't know. I think you can probably still you just drop a little bit of damage for it. I mean, you have to use it. I feel like it's so powerful.
So
Um,
build defining, you think?
I think you drop one of your damage aspects. Yeah, it's not that. Yeah, it's build defining for sure. I don't think it. Uh, I think dropping just a little bit of damage for it is just fine. Um, yeah, but it is an offensive aspect. You're right.
Here's the question.
For,
Sorry. Go ahead. Let me cut you off. I got another one.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's not like the amulet slot where it's like 1.5 multiplier
Yep.
for like Boulder, for example. So
So the
what's up?
question was, we know what item pools drop uniques, and this new one isn't there. So how the hell do you get it if it's so build defining? It's like you know how we solved that problem with all the boss loot tables now? Because we
Yeah.
don't know until the patch notes come out if any of these new uniques that they inject into the game will be included. I would imagine it's a no-brainer to do it, but then that dilutes the overall pool, so you have to do more runs, which may be why the Beast in the Ice thing's coming through. We don't know yet. But how the hell do you
Oh,
get that new thing, right?
that's a good thought, actually.
Thank you,
Yeah,
sir. I'll be
maybe.
here all week. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
they include the unique to Beast and Ice.
Because who
Yeah,
knows? I love Tempest Roar. I like playing like I wanted to get the Wax and Gibbous, all these things I'm supposed to get, and I know where to go. But if you
yep.
inject these new ones and I can't get to them because you know the drop rates, those freaking drop rates were gross. It's like, so then what? It's like, oof. So I'm concerned, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I think I like that if it is under a target, boss farming way. I wonder if it'll be like under the new Uber boss that'll throw it under that guy's umbrella.
Ooh, that'd be interesting. So we know there's 6 new uniques, right? So
Yes.
if those are in the way you're saying it, then we have to run. I'm going to use a term called the lab. It's a Path of Exile turn, a labyrinth, but a puzzle room. The what do they call it? The vault, the Uber vault.
hmm
Okay. So that's interesting because so then you have to actually have a build that can do the content, and then you switch into the build after you get there, which is normal, right? That happens. That's been happening since forever.
Yeah.
Huh. Boy, I hope so.
But when this content goes away, where do those uniques go?
Well, here's let me
What-
show you. Let me show you because I think I have an answer actually. So every time that they subvert a boss of a season into the game, he goes
Mhm.
under something. So like Varshan's under Tree of Whispers. Gregor the Galvanic Saint is I think he's in Ked Bardu. He's just in a place. They said this guy's under Kejistan, so he's just naturally going to go there. It seems like they're just tucking bosses into regions, so that's where he'd live, right? Potentially,
Yeah, potentially. Okay.
or I'm full of shit. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea, but yeah, that's a great point. Like maybe it's on that guy. I hope it is, dude. If it's not, oof. Like ugh.
Yeah.
Because I remember a lot of sorceresses in Diablo 4 were like, I want to get that chess piece, right? That Raiment of the Infinite. And like one person got it. And they were so much better at clearing content because of what it does, right? That stun. It's like you said, build defining. You can't just make that up. You can't just get that effect. You got to have that item. Huh? It's like,
Yeah. Well,
Jesus.
Well, the other thing about the arraignment is like the manipulation of the monsters, being able to pull them in. Like barbs have like the little claw that pulls stuff in. The druid had the heart that pulled stuff in,
Yep.
and like being able to group everything up. That's pretty massive for your damage output when you can pull everything into one tight spot, and you know where it's going to be because of whatever ability you're using. And so that that's why stuff like that's so powerful and so much fun, I think, to use. And so giving things like that to players is I don't know, another thing they can be looking at. The necro has the corpse tendrils.
Yep. Yep.
So
Yep.
and they had
Yeah.
like the auto heart going off, and it was just pulling things left and right. It was crazy.
And every pet is going to have the ability to get that gripping support on any skill that they use. So everybody gets that anyway. That's how they
Yeah.
solve that for every class. So the kind of deceitful thing there, though, right, is you're choosing utility over damage application from your pet, which doubles yours. So I wonder what the cost is. No one's going to know till we taste it. But dude, how do you work a Paragon board knowing that you get all that extra? How does that guy equate?
Oh.
That's a
Hmm.
conundrum, no?
Well, it depends on how your pet scales with you, I think, as well. Like, is your pet going to scale off your attack power? Because like different
Can I
classes have way different attack
We can
power.
find out. Does anybody in the room and either like if you're listening from Jim Stream Yo-Yo, if you're here, do you guys know it's 1-to-1 off your stats, isn't it? Isn't that what it was?
It's just off of your all stat.
Yeah, I think so. It's like whatever you are, it's everything you are, it has, except for like I think it's crit, it's overpower, it's all those things. Yeah, guys, is that correct? Does anybody on your side know? I'm getting yes. They said same
Yeah, 1 to
stats
1.
1-to-1. So
Okay.
it's two of you with a utility of version. So you could use the gloves you want. Maybe even like, well, I would recommend on the druid you go Erida's inexorable will, so you get the pull on your ult, which is going to be like petrify anyway because you stun everything and kill, right? So it's like if you're doing
Yeah.
that anyway, because nothing seems better unless you found cataclysm to be stronger, which in some cases it has been for me. The pet's going to do all that stuff now, so you lose a lot if you do that through the pet. I just what do you do?
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, it's one of those things you just got to play around with. I feel like it's going to be a lot
Yeah.
of trial and error.
Yeah, I don't have a gut
Um,
shot. The fact that you and I don't have like a gut shot answer is probably a good thing, right? We have to get to the lab and do some testing.
yeah, yeah. Which is why I wish the leaderboards were out, but we'll
I
not go over that
know.
again.
No, no, yeah, we don't got to beat the dead horse, but like I agree. You know what I would have said? I wonder if you wonder like the same thing. For an effect that puts a player's for effect that puts Gymnasium #1 in the Druids week 1, like you did it, right? Wasn't it worth delaying the season for 3 weeks to do that? Just wait. Just wait, man.
The issue with delaying it 3 weeks. Wait, it would be pretty close to the last Epoch launch, but anyway.
Yeah, I guess I was just saying like the Hall of the
Yeah,
Ancients and its commitment to the franchise and the business of Blizzard. Delay
yeah.
it for 3 weeks and give everybody that true start. People are
I,
taking time off work and you know what I mean? Yeah.
I would have been much more interested in this season if it were.
Yeah. I think so too, and
Uh,
that's kind of where it's kind of a slight to the player base, and I don't think they meant to be, but and the rationale certainly didn't seem that way. But anyway, I don't want to talk your ear off here, but that's my stance. It's kind of gross. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, I think we've hit on all the points that I had laid out.
You had points. I've been
Yeah.
talking. Holy shit, you had points, guys. You had points. Thank you, man. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
hit everything basically.
Just talking. Sick.
But I guess like it works out perfectly for me to play 1 week, and then this week or the weekend comes around, and I have that tournament going on for D2. So
Hey, tell me about that tournament again. What's about? Tell me about this. What's that?
uh, yeah. So I don't know if this is gonna be blinding to pull up or not.
Oh, you're gonna
Let's
flashbang,
see.
guys.
Yeah.
Flashbang. Get ready. Cover your eyeballs. Well, I'm bald. They're getting flashbang all day anyway, so let rip. Go for
Okay.
it. Yep.
Anyway, so on D2, I have like the tournament that I'm putting on for New Game Plus. So basically, it's a speed run with shared stash gear, and you can run through the game much faster than you could normally. And we got some like people sign up in the open, and then speedrunners as well. And you got your prize pool prizes over here for second, and third, and yeah, it's just going through and like downloading. We have the items already created for everybody, so they can just download the items, upload them into their shared stash, and
I'm confused.
Give it a playthrough.
Are you saying
Yeah.
people can earn real money by participating in this tournament with the
Yeah,
commentators
yeah.
of me, you, and Hollywood? Really?
Yeah, me, you, and Hollywood.
What? So first gets 250 plus $70 open? Can I get a link to that, please?
Yeah,
Too
yeah.
good. Yeah, let rip. Okay, so you can earn big money. You can earn 250, 150, $100 for playing the game you love? No shit. Wow. Look at that. Oh my
Oh.
God, it blocks you. Just send it to me on Discord. Send it to me on Discord, please. That's
Yeah,
terrible.
okay.
Sorry. Yeah, dude. So I'm going to be doing commentary with Hollywood and Jymnasium for this event. It's coming up. And this is sort of the debut that I'm going to be doing with these guys. So that's kind of cool. So do you mind telling
Yeah.
us what it is? If that's cool, like you said, NG Plus, like what is that? If people don't know what the format is, just let them know.
Yeah.
Go
So NG Plus is like a little bit different than other games, but for Diablo specifically, what we do is we start a new game, so NG, and then plus plus is the shared stash, and so like we'll come up here to I'll just pull up, we have these different oops, we have these different characters, right? 7 classes
Yep.
in Diablo 2. And then the different difficulties for them. So you got the hell version, the normal version, and the Uber version here.
Okay.
And so all these are is just different shared stashes. So if we go into like the hell sort and just like copy this shared stash, we go into this is our single player folder here.
Yep.
Actually, I have a bunch of characters because of speedrunning, but
Yeah.
it'll replace your shared stash file here with this one. Just replace it, and then when you open up the game, you'll have these items in your shared stash. I don't have the game open right now, but
That's fine. Yep. Cool. Okay.
Yeah. So it's just that easy for me to go in. Now that I have the items downloaded, it's just that easy for me to go in and change out and complete 3 tabs of gear. And the gear is insane, by the way. Like these are items that have a probability of dropping in the game, but the exact like drop rate for some of these things is unrealistic that they've ever existed in Diablo 2.
Awesome.
So some of the items anyway.
Is there a guide if somebody wanted to like follow along on how to install and like you run through that? Is there a link that you've made that they could follow for that?
Actually, I think I did.
Okay. That's good. So one thing about Jym,
yeah.
guys, just really quick, is like he does. You may not know this about him, but he asks a lot of questions. He gets a lot of people involved from the speedrunning side of things, but also the Diablo side of things. Like this is truthfully the first time you and I have ever talked, right? But like doing in this format
On stream, yeah.
on stream, yeah, on stream. So it's like he does so much for people. So it's you got to support a guy that's supporting Diablo. Like I was helping BT with this because I want Diablo to be successful, and you're doing this, so I wanted to be a part of it. When you reached out, I said hell yeah, and he does have a link too. So send me that too. I'll make this available in our Discord, and then I should probably make a video talking about it too, just that I'm going to be there doing it to make sense. And I just want to help.
Right.
Yeah, I'd be down. So if you're interested in speedrunning, you want to give it a shot just to see how you do against other people, try it. In the I guess off the Diablo 4 season 3 season start. If you want a little break or something, give it a shot. I think it's great that you're doing this, man. I think it's fantastic, and thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Always a good time. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, my community came together, and I mean, they're the ones who donated the money here to have this happen. So shout out to the Diablo community.
Big shout out for sure. That's crazy. Okay, so we have just so I understand, who's like you got people on the left hand side, the 150 open. What's the open? How does that work? How does that follow?
Anybody can sign up here. You can sign up, Barricade, but
I will be doing commentary, sir. Well, I can keep up with chat. I'm not doing that, but go ahead. So tell me about these. What's the columns? Go for it.
Yeah. So what it is you need to have some kind of stream so that we can like open up your Twitch or YouTube or Rumble or whatever you got, and we're going to jump around and look at like, let's say we're looking at like Ooey Gooey here and his Twitch stream. We're going to be also maybe comparing him to Misha's Booty or somebody. We're not going to be looking at like Kano versus somebody over here. That the comparison would be quite different, I think. The speedrunners are going to be compared against other speedrunners. So like if we're looking at Kano, we'll be comparing him against Llama or somebody, right?
Okay.
And so we'll be looking at and Sylvanus, by the way, shout out to him. He is the one who put together and helped me put together a lot of these shared stash tab or files.
Yeah, I caught that. So, yeah, that was good. Yeah. Thanks, man.
He put in a lot of work. So
oh, it's all good. No, great. So just for the actual the I should say the format. So it's the 27th of January at 2 p.m. Eastern time. That's when We start the event, and these guys, we give them a 3, 2, 1. Good luck. Is that what happens?
Yeah.
Awesome.
But
Cool.
there's a countdown right here. So if you need to know exactly what the time and date is, there you go. So 8 days and 23 hours from now.
Awesome. Cool.
So
And you're
that
look.
way,
So go ahead. But
I
yeah,
was gonna say that way you don't have to try to do the conversion for 2 p.m. Eastern.
I have it locked in. I'll be there. I'll be there doing it. So I've committed to this before, and I'm down to help. So I know you and I have to have a conversation with Woot to get all of our levels nice, and I'm looking forward to it, man. So whatever I
Yeah.
can do to help, I want to. And again, thanks for reaching out. So yeah, dudes, sweet, cool.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to chit chat about was this and then Diablo 4 stuff. And I feel like we're on the same page for most of it, pretty much. I
Yeah.
wish you and I both like rifts more. We'd be more into the game. You know, it's too bad.
For sure, man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay.
The
Well,
riffs.
yeah, dude, I don't get it. I don't get why you have a whole world and you decide to make everybody go into one circle or oval. It's like cool. I wish it was better, but c'est la vie, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway, I'm gonna check out your Druid stuff because I appreciate all the work you do and stuff, and I'm gonna play Pulverize and hope to Christ we get access to that unique or we're screwed, right? So yeah,
Yeah, dude.
yeah,
Looking forward to, I guess, playing around. Or I'm looking forward to the patch notes tomorrow to kind of
yep,
get a feel for what they're changing. And yeah, I mean, you know how druids struggle at the beginning for leveling.
yep.
Maybe taking that, Thorn Spirit Boon might be worth doing.
It looked really good. And again, like imagine if you
So
get that and your pet gets that. Is that just claps everything, right? Like that'd be amazing. So who
yeah.
knows? Because the pet can taunt. But I don't know. I'm eager to check out the new mechanic, and I hope it's meaningful and worth farming Duriel again for. But gosh, that's gonna be rough. And another thing we don't know, and I'll just leave it here. I'll leave the feather
Mhm.
in the cap. Wouldn't it be cool if all of our new stones and this new guy, if they were on every character after we leveled them up once, instead of having to do it every single time for all your alts?
Huh.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Finally, not having to level up like every individual one for each class that you want to play.
Yeah, I don't know the terminology. I'm kind of like foggy on it, but if they don't make it so that's the case, it's going to feel like a massive grind to go through all of those puzzle rooms. And I can tell you, Path of Exile's got 4 different difficulties of like labyrinth or puzzle room strategies, and people are generally happy to be done with them. They're cool in the beginning, but then after you've done it, you're like, I don't want to do that again. And I bet you that comes through again. But I try to be positive. Maybe it's not going to
100%.
be so bad, but yeah. All right, man. I'm gonna bounce, hit the tunes, say I am to the dudes and dudettes, and I want to say thanks to you for being here today, man. Appreciate taking the time.
Thanks, man.
No
I had
problem.
a good time talking.
GG's. I'll chat with you later. All
GG.
right, man. Jim, ladies and gents. See you.
Mr. Barricade.
Heyo. What a guy. What a guy. What a guy.